On 7b, here we're going to be writing the equation in vertex form, which is going to require us to complete the square. Then we're going to third time's a charm, state the vertex and the transformations that occurred to our parent function. So if we start this, remember our first step is that we're going to subtract the 10 from both sides, because we're going to put all of the x's on one side and the constant on the other. I'm going to write negative 10 plus y. If you write y minus 10, it will not make a difference. But negative 10 plus y equals negative x squared plus 8x. The difficulty on this particular problem is that there is not a 1 as a coefficient on the x squared. There's a negative 1 as the x in front of the x squared. So we need to factor that out. So this is going to be negative 10 plus y. Nothing's going to change over here on the left side, but we're going to factor out a negative 1. And when we factor out a negative 1, negative x squared divided by negative 1 is positive x squared. Positive 8x divided by negative 1 is negative 8x. And that's going to lead us to our third step. If you look back to the steps on page 9, I believe, in your packet, we're going to add something to this side. And we're going to add something to this side. The thing is, when we figure out what goes in this box, we have this negative 1 on the outside, which means that it would have to be distributed. Negative 1 times x squared. Negative 1 times negative 8x. It's going to be negative 1 times whatever in the box. So over here on the left side, this has to be negative 1 times whatever in the box. We're going to take this value. It's negative 8 divided by 2. It's always divided by 2 and squared. And we're going to add that in this box. We're going to add that in this box. Negative 8 divided by 2 squared. The negative 8, once again, came from right here. We can simplify that a little bit. And I do mean a little bit. So it's negative 1 times negative 4 squared. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. Minus 10 plus y. And same thing over here. Negative 4 squared. The reason that I write that like that is so that we don't have to actually split the middle. When we're working with completing the square, we need to have the same values in the parentheses. So this is x minus 4. X squared is x times x. And then negative 4 squared is negative 4, negative 4. We still have our negative 1 outside of that. And then we can start working on the other side. Well, this is negative 1 times negative 4 squared is actually 16. If you need to type that in your calculator, you need to put parentheses around the negative 4 minus 10 plus 1. So we just factored, which again is step 4 from page 9. If you notice, it says condense after that. So we're going to rewrite this as negative 1 times x minus 4 squared. There's the condense. And on this part here, negative 1 times 16 is negative 16 minus 10 plus y. And we're close to having this in vertex form. Negative 16 minus y is negative 26 plus y. And then I'm running out of space, but we're going to add 26 to both sides. And when we add 26 to both sides, and actually, let me draw the arrow all the way up here. Oh, we don't have to write the equation. So, what we end up with is we end up with y equals negative 1 times the quantity of x minus 4 squared plus 26. Once we get it in this form, we can come up with the transformations. Our turning point, which is also known as the vertex, is change the sign, keep the sign. 4, 26. Our transformations. The negative out in front of the parentheses means that we reflect over the x-axis. And then we went 4 right and 26 up.